5, working for you.
Welcome in. First at 5, a dry and very humid afternoon across central Indiana this evening.
Thunderstorms likely woke you up this morning, but will they keep you from falling asleep tonight?
And for that, we bring in Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory.
Well, we've established a pattern, haven't we? You get a round of thunderstorms, then hours that are dry, then the next thunderstorm round comes. All right, first, let's rate the humidity, and I'll let you make your own personal choice, but I'll just say not good. We're getting close to the instant sweat. If we had more sunshine today, I think it would really be noticeable, and it would drive up the heat index value. But for the first time, we can really talk about the temperature, then what it feels like when you add in the humidity. 86 is the heat index in Indy, almost a 90-degree feel down in Bloomington. Actual temperature in Lafayette in the 70s, as well as Peru. Okay, any showers will be isolated this evening in central Indiana. There's one just cutting through Greenfield, and this is an all-out thunderstorm. And with the humidity, we'll have downpours. If it rains, it pours in this kind of setup. Those will make their move towards Cincinnati. Any stronger storms tonight should be confined to the southern third of the state, Bedford and Seymour south. Any thunderstorms that do develop, though, would have some heavier downpours. Temperatures, they're warm all night long. We'll talk about Friday's opportunity for rain and look into Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Right now at 5 and only on RTV6, brand new developments in the massive Indigo Red Line project that's impacting the city of Indianapolis.
Our Call 6 team was first to uncover major issues with the $1.3 million electric buses that were purchased for the project.
Call 6 Investigates. Paris LaBelle is live with the latest about a potential fix after RTV6 exposed this problem.
Mark and Amanda, those buses were supposed to go 275 miles on a single charge. That allowed them to service the Red Line 10 times in a round trip and keep buses coming every 10 minutes. But the buses they got weren't doing that. Call 6 Investigates first uncovered earlier this year internal reports that the buses were undergoing testing in the city and they weren't getting anywhere close to that range. According to the latest testing reports obtained by Call 6, the buses were only able to go on average just 208 miles, 67 than what's less than what's required. And we found when it's cold outside, the buses have drastically less range. Now Indigo is revealing to Call 6 that they have worked with the bus company to come up with a wireless charging solution. The buses would drive over to keep them charged during the day, and that will keep the batteries on the buses with enough charge to get through the entire route. Now, some people we talked to today say it's a step in the right direction after months of delays and extra money being spent.
I mean, we're dealing with Indianapolis here, and we got so much going on at one time. I think it's an awesome step, yeah.
We need some kind of better public transportation, so anything's an improvement. The way I look at it is, look at the potholes. They can't get the potholes filled. You know, everything's delayed. I mean, so it doesn't bother me. I just roll with the flow, I guess.
So what does this mean for the project and how much will it cost? We're digging into those issues and they'll be coming up on the news at 6. For now, live along the Red Line route, Paris LaBelle, RTV6.
Identify the amounts of the carcinogens that are there. Identify what's still going to be there when you build this.
Tonight, there are environmental and health concerns about the proposed Marion County Criminal Justice Center. For 100 years, that property was home to a gas manufacturing plant. Working for you, RTV6's Derek Thomas obtained a consultant's report detailing the chemicals in the ground and spoke with people worried about working in the building.
This is an artist's rendering of what the project would look like. It would be a sprawling 140-acre campus. The groundbreaking was last year, and prep work was going on today. In that consultant report, 14 different chemicals are identified in the soil, among them arsenic, lead, naphthalene, iron, mercury, and benzene. Some of them carcinogenic, all of them concerning to Bob Hammerly, who sits on the Public Defender's Board of Directors.
Doesn't make sense. You know, you've got, if it's not suitable for a house, for a home, to build a home there, then how in God's name is it suitable to have inmates from a jail live out there for months, and some of them for over a year at a time? And it's just as damaging to them as it is to project it on people living in a home.
Hammerly says he's not going to be popular after this interview, but he says he's concerned about the health and safety of inmates and their families, judges, police, prosecutors, and public defenders. The Public Defender's Office would have offices in that new building. Bob Hill is the chief public defender. He has heard concerns from his workers.
I've got clients that are out there
that are going to be living in the jail. And I have 267 staff members who will be functioning out there on a daily basis. That is, it should be concerned. Should be concerned for everyone.
The bottom line in that consultant report found that based on our review, an unreasonable risk to human health and the environment does not appear likely, assuming the vapor mitigation system is installed and operated in accordance with the applicable IDEM guidance. The city says the remediation efforts don't stop there.
The city is currently removing hundreds of thousands of tons of impacted soil from the site, placing feet of clean soil between it and any occupants of the project development. In addition, all of the buildings will be installed with state-of-the-art vapor mitigation system that is very common, not just here in Indianapolis, but across the country.
The Indiana Department of Environmental Management must give final approval on the cleanup efforts. Derek Thomas, RTV6.
Derek, thank you. If you think your health is being put in jeopardy and you start running into red tape, contact RTV6. Just email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
And just into the RTV6 newsroom, an 11-year veteran of the Marion County Sheriff's Office has been fired, and he now faces criminal charges. Prosecutor Terry Curry announced today that John Dorsey allegedly battered a man, quote, while in the performance of his official duties. A spokesperson for the sheriff said Dorsey was fired earlier this week from his job as lieutenant. He faces 1 felony count of official misconduct by a public servant and 2 misdemeanor counts of battery resulting in bodily injury. And according to court documents, officers with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department were called to the area of Lafayette Road and West 60th Street to help with a traffic stop of a person with an active arrest warrant. At the scene, the man told officers that his arrest was personal. It is alleged that the man had been in a relationship with the mother of Lieutenant Dorsey's children. Well, new at 5, a former Warren Central teacher and softball coach is now charged with sexual misconduct with a student. According to court documents filed today in Hamilton Circuit Court, Brittany K. Meng is charged with 2 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor and 1 count of child solicitation. A warrant has been issued for Meng's arrest. The charges stem from an alleged sexual relationship between Meng, a former Spanish teacher and junior varsity softball coach at Warren Central High School, and a 15-year-old student at the school. The director of Media and Community Relations for Metropolitan School District of Warren Township said Meng, a 3-year teacher at the school, resigned her positions May 3rd.
John Walker Lynn, who you see here behind me, is free, released from prison in Terre Haute this morning. He's also known as the American Taliban. Lynn served more than 17 years in prison for fighting against U.S. forces in Afghanistan. Authorities say they released Lynn from prison today due to good behavior, despite just serving 17 years of his 20-year sentence. Lynn converted to Islam as a teenager in California, then left for the Middle East in the late 90s and even met Osama bin Laden at an al-Qaeda training camp. Lynn was captured during the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan. New developments here at 5. The state's medical licensing board decided to extend a license suspension for a Lebanon pediatrician accused of molesting patients in his care. According to the Attorney General's office, Dr. Jonathan Cavan's license is now suspended an additional 90 days. The same board suspended his license back in March. Cavans is accused of molesting children in his care. His trial is scheduled for July.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, President Trump proposing to cut funding for repairs to public housing. Our Scripps team looks at the potential impact and what that would mean for over 2.5 million people in the United States.
And I'm Dave First, live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Okay, so after a day of really the drivers going all around the country, yesterday, Community Day, finally back in the Speedway, talking about the 103rd running of the 500. That includes Simon Pagenaud, who will lead this field on Sunday. We'll hear from him coming up.
And I bet you they're talking about humidity and rain chances as well. Tomorrow, Carb Day, so let the festivities begin. 7 o'clock in the morning, isolated showers and thunderstorms. There we are, about 9 a.m. I'll finish this timeline and look through the weekend coming up.
Work for you.
Welcome back to the news at 5 on RTV6. We're just 3 days away from the greatest spectacle in racing.
Sunday, the drivers finally strap in for 500 miles, but there's still some work to be done on Carb Day, which is happening tomorrow.
RTV6 Sports Director Dave First caught up with some of the drivers on Media Day this afternoon. He is live at the Speedway now. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, things are picking up once again. Tomorrow, really one of the most anticipated days in IndyCar racing. Carb Day. It's a 90-minute practice. They'll start at 11 a.m., go all the way till 12:30. 30 minutes longer than they've had in years past. Most of the drivers all looking forward to that opportunity. But earlier this afternoon here at the Speedway, what they call Media Day. They open up the doors, have all 33 drivers inside, packed, as you might imagine. One of the last times some of the media will have with these drivers heading into the race. The national guys, they've all arrived on the scene as well. Papers, websites from all around the country. One of the more popular stops, as you might imagine, the pole winner from last Sunday, Simon Pagenaud. This is his 8th Indy 500. He simply cannot wait to get going.
Actually, much rather be in this position. I've been hunting a lot last year. It's time for me to be hunted now. And when you're hunted, you're first. And that's what any racer in this world would want to be, first. So that yellow car can't be missed anyways. So I hope they only get to see the back of it.
We'll see what happens. Hey, speaking of Team Penske drivers, join us tonight for another Trackside 6 special, including a very personal interview with Elizabeth and Will Power at their home down in North Carolina. There's a lot more to winning the 500 than you think. Liz was fighting for her life after the birth of their son, Bo, while Will was battling his own health issues on the track, the trials and tribulations, as well as coming back to Indy. Once you get that taste, is it when, hey, let's go do this again?
Oh, yeah. That's true. Like you have, like last year was last year, and you just focused on how can we do this again. And
well, we still watch it.
Do you?
Like it happened. Oh, yeah. Like, well, I know it sounds.
She must have.
No, you do too.
She'll watch the last 4 laps or something.
But it's exciting. It's like it happened again. And we'll watch it together still. I can't believe it.
Yeah, every now and then we'll watch the last
we do it
4 laps, and it just bring a smile to your face that you finally won that race.
Another Trackside 6 special coming tonight. Plus, Brad Brown, the story of the IndyCar's Swedish rookies. Marco Andretti opens up about life after racing, and it's the silver anniversary of Roger Penske's engine, which shocked the racing world. All exclusive stories tonight at 7:30, only right here on RTV6. Our coverage continues. Coming up on the news at 6, Tony Kanaan will join us. He's got a theory about Carb Day tomorrow, and let's just use the term sandbagging. Who will do it tomorrow morning and early afternoon? We'll find out at 6 o'clock. For now, Dave First reporting live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, RTV6 Sports.
Thanks, Dave. And if you are going to Carb Day, Legends Day, or the Indianapolis 500, you need to take some precautions to keep yourself safe. The primary concern on Carb Day tomorrow is the heat. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway medical director says you need to drink plenty of fluids, wear light clothing, and find shade if you need it. But on Sunday, the day of the 500, storms are the main concern. You need to follow the directions of IMS officials to make sure you know what to do. But there are issues that can pop up that you probably haven't even thought about. Things medics encounter every year at the track.
On race day, there are over 300,000 people on site. That makes us the second largest city in the state of Indiana. So we see, for that 12-hour period, things that you would see in any city of that size. So we see heart attacks, strokes, we see people with breathing difficulties, but mostly we see minor injuries and illnesses, upset stomachs. We see heat-related illnesses, sunburns. Sometimes people trip and fall.
Dr. Villo says there are misting stations around IMS, cooling tents, as well as cooling buses. If you have a medical issue, make sure you get straight to the infield care center.
Happening tomorrow, IU Health says it will offer measles vaccines to fans on Carb Day at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Vaccines will be available to anyone at the IU Health Infield Care Center on Carb Day, at least until IU Health runs out of the vaccine. Large gatherings of people have increasingly become a concern as the measles outbreak spreads across the country. And working for you with a warning for all parents, doctors say you need to pay close attention to children for hepatitis A exposure. Depending on their age, kids might not show the same symptoms like adults. We're talking primarily about kids 6 and younger. It is something you need to especially keep in mind as children join camps and play with other kids this summer. If they are exposed to hepatitis A, you may not know it. Symptoms for hepatitis A can sometimes be confused as regular flu-like symptoms. If you're not sure, go see a doctor. Dr. Jeffrey Collins says the best prevention is a vaccine, even if you are not sure if your kids have received it before. He says if they do get Hep A, it will take time, rest, and fluids to recuperate.
Basically, your body will develop immunoglobulins or antibodies to the virus, and so you'll no longer be at risk of catching hepatitis A again.
Dr. Collins says one thing to remember about the virus is that it lives on surfaces at room temperature for months, so using germicidal wipes is recommended. Now, according to the CDC, signs of hepatitis A in young kids could include no symptoms at all. Sometimes there are flu-like symptoms, yellowing of the skin or the whites of the eyes, fever, tiredness, stomach pain, vomiting, and dark urine.
Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast, and we are monitoring what race weekend will look like, and there's plenty of variables.
A lot of eyes on that forecast.
And what's difficult is you've seen, I think, when you have a round of thunderstorms, that influences the immediate time period afterwards. Right. So I think a best case scenario is if you had a round of thunderstorms in the morning on race morning, that calms the atmosphere for a while and gives you more time.
Fingers crossed?
Yeah, we'll see. The probability is a little higher as we go to race day. That's nothing about the timing yet, though. Warmest day is still to come. Not tomorrow. We'll be close to the mid-80s, but Saturday, Legends Day at the track, Parade Day, 87 degrees. The chance for thunderstorms there increases in the afternoon and evening. There's your Sunday, 81, and then on Memorial Day itself, 82 degrees. It's all about the wind today, west and southwest, pumping up the humidity. Oftentimes our humidity obviously comes from the Gulf of Mexico. In this situation, though, we've supercharged it because just walk in your yard. It is so soggy. That's available moisture to be evaporated and just adds to the humid situation. Temperatures 82 in Indianapolis, 4 degrees warmer down in Bedford. Cooler to the north. The little front, the spark for the showers and thunderstorms is shifting south for now. It's allowed somewhat cooler temperatures to the north. Say hello to Blossom, and it's ironic and it's appropriate that both dogs have their tongue out today, because the humidity is higher. Temperatures will be slow to cool this evening. An isolated downpour around, thanks to Beth for sending in a picture of Blossom. Thunderstorms blossomed in southeast Indiana, closer to that front. You see them pop up. Now you see them, now you don't. They'll head over into Ohio. We've had a couple of specks or showers that build but then fall apart, haven't been able to sustain themselves along Interstate 70 in eastern Indiana. Just so you can all see what's going on, we're fairly quiet and likely to stay that way this evening. Tomorrow morning, another round of thunderstorms, at least the potential increases, not as early in the morning, maybe mid-morning to around noon. See how that plays out. There's 7 a.m., then we go to 9 a.m., the likelihood Terre Haute, Bloomington, and Bedford, and then it drifts a little more to the north, but you see the coverage is spotty, so whether you're talking about 16th and Georgetown or your house, probability in any one spot, still better that you stay dry than get wet. Any severe weather threat tomorrow, northern third to half of the state. Temperatures range from around 80 to 85, and we step back into the weekend. Windy and humid Saturday. Thunderstorm chances increase in the afternoon. Temperatures down a little bit. Rain chances come up a bit on Sunday. Memorial Day, 82 degrees. We back off our rain chances then. Actually, 7-day forecast ends with some real comfortable conditions. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, temperatures in the 70s for highs.
And we can see June in the near future.
There it is.
There it is.
You see it? You see it?
Thanks, Kevin. A wedding takes an unexpected turn. You can see it by the look on the faces of the bride and groom there. We'll show you what happened. That's now making national headlines.
Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV. We continue following the case of the state of California versus Kellen Winslow II. The former NFL star is being accused by the state of being a sexual predator. Today in court, the jury heard from Jane Doe number 3. She is a neighbor of Winslow's. She testified that she was gardening and that someone came up to her in her yard while she was cutting her flowers and exposed themselves to her. There are 5 accusers in total in this case. 3 of them are alleging forcible rape. Now, Winslow has maintained his innocence and even called this case a money grab. He reportedly made $40 million while he was playing in the NFL. His father, NFL Hall of Famer Kellen Winslow Sr., has been at every hearing supporting him. Stay with Court TV as we continue following this case for you with gavel-to-gavel coverage. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
And you can stream Court TV live 24 hours a day at courttv.com. Well, your wedding is supposed to be flawless. You expect everything to go exactly to plan.
Right.
It's supposed to, but it's real life, so that never happens.
What you don't expect at a wedding is an uninvited guest, and the look on the faces of these newlyweds shows the moment they notice something isn't right. Adam and Sadie Deka had just finished their wedding on St. Pete Beach Monday when their reception turned into a real-life version of the movie Wedding Crashers.
The man in the photo arrested for a misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct. The couple says they have no idea how he got in. They didn't even know he was arrested, but they want him to know one thing.
If we could give him a high five for giving us an unforgettable wedding, we would.
The couple says there are no hard feelings. They even want to meet him. They're being great sports about all of this. Hey, whatever it takes to jazz it up.
I guess.
Yeah,
That's
drop
funny.
on in.
All right.
All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6. A woman decides not to move into a local apartment complex, but breaking away is not so easy. The apartment managers refused to return her deposit, so she came to us for help. Her story highlights what everyone needs to know before signing a lease.
But first on the Now Indy, it's Memorial Day weekend. Many of us are going to travel by plane. What you need to see before you head to the airport. We're going to help you save some time. You're watching RTV6.